Before we get into this video is sponsored by Pro Guides. If you are dedicated to improving as a player, I highly recommend you check them out. Link in the description.
Fly swiftly, kill swiftly. A bird's eye view is the best advantage. I'd keep my head down if I were you. Who's there? Fiora who? Valor. That's just mean. Val's stealing all the glory again.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mickey C, aka TheLoLHounds, and today we are going to be looking at a Challenger Quinn player, specifically a Challenger top lane Quinn player. He goes by the summoner name Quinncidence. I must admit that's a very clever name. I like it a lot. Anyway, he is currently ranked 107 on the EUW server and has over 170 games with over a 70% win rate on Quinn, which is actually insane for somebody in Challenger with that many games on the champion. Now this video is going to focus on his runes, masteries, item build and skill order, and then you guys can copy it or just compare your Quinn build to his. Once again, you are going to find out it is another lethality build right now that is doing really well. Also, Quinn at the moment has the highest win rate in the top lane, so that says something, although she isn't really played that much, which basically says only the Quinn mains out there are playing her, so that probably increases her win rate a little bit. So without further ado, let's do this. Now first of all, summoner spells. For a long time there, it looked like he only took flash and ignite on Quinn no matter what position he played. However, recently it looks like when he plays Quinn in the top lane, he now takes flash and TP, and then when he plays her in the mid lane, he takes flash and ignite. So I guess it comes down really to what you prefer. Do you want that early game pressure with the ignite, or do you prefer the safer option, which is teleport? Now onto runes and masteries. So masteries, he has two different pages that he uses. The main one he uses is a 12-18-0 Thunderlord's Decree page. He pretty much uses this one every single time except for matchups against Jace. What I noticed is that whenever he played against Jace, or whenever Jace was on the enemy team, he went for a 12-18-0 Storm Raiders Surge page. Now, to be honest, I don't really know exactly why he does this. Why is Storm Raiders a more beneficial Keystone Mastery than Thunderlords in this particular matchup? I've never played the matchup myself, so all I can really say is obviously the movement speed from Storm Raiders is more beneficial than the damage you get from Thunderlord's Decree against Jace. In general though, I think just sticking to the standard Thunderlords page is your best bet. As for his runes, he usually takes 9 lethality reds, 9 armor yellows, 9 scaling CDR blues, and 3 lethality quints. Sometimes, however, he took a different page against AP matchups or just against a very heavy AP team comp, where he takes 9 scaling magic resist blues and 9 scaling health per level yellows instead of the CDR and armor, which obviously makes a lot of sense. Now onto his item build. So starting items would be Ghostblade and a health pot. However, sometimes in matchups where he's not really in danger of dying early game, so against someone like Shen, he would often start with a Cull instead of the Ghostblade. As for his first back though, it depends on how much gold he backs with. He usually just gets a couple of longswords, but if he has enough gold, he will get the serrated dirk, and if he manages to back with 1300 gold, he will consider getting a BF sword on his first back, both a serrated dirk and BF sword build into Duskblade, which is often the first item that he completes. As for his core build, it is often that his two core items are Duskblade and Edge of Night. He gets Duskblade every single game, however sometimes if he feels Edge of Night is not really needed as the enemy team don't really have too much AP damage, then he will consider getting the Ghostblade instead of the Edge of Night. His first two items however would always be lethality items. After that though, it is all situational. His most common final build would be Duskblade, Edge of Night, Ghostblade, a Last Whisper item, tier 2 boots, and then a Stattik Shiv. Then late game he would consider selling boots to get another item such as Infinity Edge. He doesn't really upgrade his tier 2 boots until very late in the game. If he does get boots, Moby boots seems to be the boots he favors the most, and that says he very much likes roaming around the map, which is obviously a strength of Quinn. Otherwise he would just get Ninja Tabbies or Merc Treads. Other items he would consider would be Stattik's Gauge against heavy burst champions, Phantom Dancer for extra survivability, and Mercurial Scimitar for that QSS against the champions such as Warwick, Malzahar, and maybe Twisted Fate, champions like that. As for his skill order, he would start E, get 2 points in Q, then level 4 get W, max Q first, E second, W third, and his ultimate whenever he can. Okay, so there you go. That pretty much does it for lane Quinn. As I said before, he mostly plays Quinn in the top lane, but sometimes he did play Quinn in the mid lane as well. Now he does also occasionally play Quinn in the jungle, but not very often. For Quinn Jungle, his masteries will also be 12-18-0, but with a few slight changes such as going with Runic Affinity for the better jungle clears. This is his rune page, so 980 reds, 9 armor yellows, 9 attack speed blues, and 3 attack speed quints. The AD and attack speed is obviously for the better jungle clears early game, so that is the main reason why he goes with AD over the lethality with jungle Quinn. As for his item build on jungle Quinn, it is pretty much exactly the same as his lane Quinn build, but instead he rushes the red smite warrior item before anything else. After that, he just goes with his standard builds such as the lethality items and so on. So that's pretty much the only changes to his jungle Quinn build. Finally, from the games I spectated of his playstyle with Quinn, he pretty much looks to bully the enemy laner if he can, especially if they're a melee champion and he knows more or less where the enemy jungler is. Apart from that, or if that's not possible, he would just farm it out safely until level 6, and then once he hits level 6, that's when he starts roaming like a madman with his ultimate, and that is the real strength of Quinn, those roams once you get that ultimate ability. Basically just pushing the top lane wave and then roaming towards the other lanes, basically trying to snowball his teammates as well as himself. Then once he gets about 3 items, particularly the 3 lethality items, Duskblade, Edge of Night, and Ghostblade, that's when he can actually one-shot the enemy ADC. Lethality on Quinn is definitely really powerful at the moment, or it seems really strong, and if the enemy team is not building any armor, well, they are pretty much dead. You can also use your E ability to interrupt enemy abilities, so try and time that against particular abilities, or wait for the enemy to use their gap closer and then you only use your E to knock them back. Apart from that, there is not really too much else to say. That is Quinncidence, an EUS Challenger Quinn main and his build. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, drop that like button, and as always, have a nice day.